In 2019, people clowned Jimmy Butler for signing with the Miami Heat, claiming it was a selfish move and that he solely joined them to be the star. Fast forward to 2023, the Heat are one win away from their second finals appearance in 4 years. They be just the second 8th seed in NBA history to make the NBA Finals, and did so by upsetting the number 1 seeded Bucks in just 5 games, the 5th seeded Knicks in 6, and the conference champs of last season in convincing fashion. Moreover, you know the Heat are about to do something that hasn't been done in 24 years. How they're doing this is even more mind-boggling. Unlike the typical contender that mortgages their future to contend, the Heat have built a scary team with undrafted players who went at the end of the lottery, and having one of the greatest coaches to ever do it. Plus, you'd be surprised how J. Cole is somehow responsible for the Heat's success. Here's just how the Heat are outsmarting the entire NBA and why their culture has led to sustained success. But before we get to that, be sure to leave a like on the video, as each like makes a tremendous difference for the channel, and be sure to sub to the channel for even more content like this. After LeBron's departure and Chris Bosh's unfortunate health complications, the Heat were in a weird state of transition. Sure, they did make the playoffs in 2016, but with Wade in decline and seeking a lucrative deal to re-up with the team, the Heat felt it best to let him walk so they wouldn't be hindered financially. Because of this, the Heat consequently fell off and missed the playoffs entirely. But that meant that they'd eventually have the 14th pick in the NBA draft. Bam Adebayo. Bam played on that Kentucky team that had both De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk, but made a name for himself for his defensive versatility with potential to guard 1 through 5, his ability to run the open floor and finish, and his functionality as a screener and roller. Strangely enough, he was projected to be a Markieff Morris, Tristan Thompson hybrid, but it's safe to say that he's greatly outperformed those projections. Bam is a 2-time All-Star, easily one of the best bigs in today's game, and made the offensive leap we all hope he'd make. He averaged a career-high 20 points per game this season on 54% from the field due to his improvement as an isolation scorer. He's made his 3rd straight all-defensive team as one of the most versatile defenders in today's game, and is one of the best playmaking bigs also in today's game. Not bad for the last pick in the lottery. In the 2018 NBA Draft, the Heat didn't have a single draft pick due to the Goran Dragic's trade of years prior, meaning in order to get a low-cost contributor on their roster, they'd had to look into players who went undrafted. And that's just what they did, with them having a private workout and taking notes of a player who could be a mainstay for the organization. That player was Duncan Robinson, a former D3 transfer to Michigan who shortly lit it up with the team's summer league team, later signed a 2-way contract, earned a starting spot, and eventually signed the largest contract for an undrafted player ever. Robinson has been a sniper for the Heat ever since joining the team, shooting 40% from 3 on 7 attempts a game. And while his stint in Miami hasn't been all sunshine and rainbows, his reinsertion in the lineup for the playoffs has been a big boost for this team. Outside of this being Dwayne Wade's final season, nothing notable happened to the Heat during 2019. Josh Richardson led the team in scoring at just 16 points per game on 41% from the field and 36% from 3. D Wade, funny enough, was the second leading scorer on that team at 15 a game, and the team missed the playoffs yet again. However, sucking meant that they'd have another lottery pick in the NBA draft. One they'd use to select another Kentucky Wildcat in Tyler Hero at pick 13. Hero only shot 36% from 3 in college, but given the fact that he shot 94% from the line and tore it up in workouts, he was seen as an appealing piece for a team that needed shot making on a cheaper deal. He was seen in the mold of guys like Nick Stauskas and Joe Harris entering the league, but Hero has been a much better player than both of those guys in just his rookie season. He averaged 14 points per game as a rookie while shooting 39% from 3 and proved pivotal in the Heat, making the NBA Finals at just 20 years of age. Matter of fact, the 37 points he dropped in Game 4 against the Celtics is the most points scored by a rookie in conference finals history, and he joined Talen Horton-Tucker as the first players born in 2000 or later to play in the NBA Finals. Since then, it's safe to say that Hero has been a pretty good player, becoming the first Heat player to win Sixth Man of the Year last season and averaged 25-4 over the last 2 seasons. However, Hero wasn't even the best player the Heat added in the 2019 offseason, as minutes into free agency, Jimmy Butler pledged his commitment to the team. Jimmy Butler at the time was obviously seen as one of the best free agents in a loaded 2019 class, but he was perceived as a cancer and a diva. He made his way out of Chicago, had a falling out in Minnesota where he infamously beat the team starters with the third string unit, and had an interview with Rachel Nichols just moments after, and was just about to leave a Sixers team with Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris, and JJ Redick. Joining the Heat would mean that he'd be on his 4th team in just 2 years, but his Heat chapter just might take him to the Hall of Fame. He's made 3 All-NBA teams in 4 seasons, 3 conference finals, 2 All-Star teams, and has been an all-time playoff riser. He averaged 27, 10, and 8 in the 2020 NBA Finals, shooting 55% from the field and having 2 35-plus triple-doubles in those finals. In the 2022 postseason, he averaged 27 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals while leading the Heat to another conference finals. Matter of fact, in Game 6 against the Celtics in Boston, Jimmy dropped 47 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, and 4 steals to phase off elimination. But it gets even crazier. This postseason, Jimmy was simply possessed and has arguably been the best player these playoffs. He not only averaged 38 points per game against the Bucks, but dropped the 4th most points ever in an NBA playoff game at 56 points with unreal takeover moments, told Drew Holiday that he owned him while trailing Game 5, sent that team to overtime after an improbable inbounds play, and ultimately sent home the number 1 seed in just 5 games. Against the Celtics, Grant Williams poked the bear, and Jimmy Butler subsequently torched him to the point where the Celtics had to bench him. Jimmy has been on a different level these playoffs and is on his way to winning Eastern Conference Finals MVP and potentially a Finals MVP. However, the Heat wouldn't even be in this position if it weren't for an undrafted player named Max Strus. Strus was a D2 player at Lewis University before impressing and transferring to DePaul. He would lead his team in scoring in back-to-back seasons, but he wasn't selected in the 2019 NBA Draft. The Celtics, ironically, later signed him to a 2-way deal, cut him, then he'd sign with the Bulls on a 2-way deal, and they'd cut him after he tore his ACL in the G League. However, the Heat signed him to a 2-way deal in December of 2020, and he's been a contributing piece ever since. He scored 31 points on 7 3-pointers against the Bulls to punch the Heat's ticket to the NBA playoffs, and is averaging double-digit points in these playoffs on 39% from 3. Actually, the Heat have 3 undrafted players averaging double digits in these playoffs, with Gabe Vincent and Caleb Martin being the other two. Gabe Vincent spent 4 seasons at UC Santa Barbara before going undrafted in 2018. The Kings later offered him an Exhibition 10 contract and cut him, but he soon later impressed with their G League affiliates in the 2019-2020 season, averaging 23 points on 47, 41, 90 splits. He would later win Most Improved Player in the G League that season and received a 2-way contract with the Heat, later becoming a reliable backup point guard for this team that's invaluable, being a defensive pest, hitting timely shots, and making impactful plays. The last undrafted player among the Heat rotation is Caleb Martin, who went undrafted in 2019 and was later cut from the Hornets shortly after. However, something you probably didn't know is that J. Cole, yes, that J. Cole, played a major role in getting Caleb Martin to the Heat. He supposedly called up assistant coach Caron Butler and told him that Caleb Martin was a player the Heat should consider. Spoelstra then invited him to a scrimmage where he greatly impressed, and then he earned a 2-way contract that was converted to a full-scale contract. Caleb has been pivotal for the Heat and is averaging 20 points per game in the Eastern Conference Finals. Finally, we need to give credit to Coach Erik Spoelstra, a mastermind that's the best coach in the NBA. Spoelstra started off as the team's video coordinator and was promoted to an assistant coach due to Pat Riley noticing his analytical ability and evaluation skills. From then on, Pat Riley handpicked him to be his successor, and he's then gone on to make 7 conference finals in 15 seasons and has helped players to reach their full potential. There's no better coach in the league at making adjustments. He's proven to be a great evaluator of talent, and he's a complete psychopath. Overall, what the Heat have accomplished this season is something no one could have predicted, and it's due to their culture of finding diamonds in the rough to fulfill roles on the team that has guided them thus far. They're all about basketball, they're obsessed with winning, and it's really fun rooting for this team. In the comment section down below, let me know how you feel about the Heat's magical playoff run and how they've managed to build a contender in a unique way. And let me know whether you feel the Heat will win the 2023 NBA Finals. Be sure to leave a like on the video, as each like makes a tremendous difference for the channel, and also be sure to sub to the channel for even more content like this. Hope to see you all in the next one, and stay tuned.